Your Honor, fellow lawyers, jury, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wisdom Tokoli, and I'm here representing the state of Oklahoma regarding the case before the House today. I believe we all know that the case before the House is Maggette versus Oklahoma. Maggette is from the Creek Nation who has committed an abominable act by raping, by involving himself in sodomy, and then by killing a lady in the land of Oklahoma. And Maggette claims that the state of Oklahoma has no jurisdiction regarding this particular case. And I'm here to prove to the House that the state of Oklahoma has jurisdictive authority regarding the case. Let me begin by bringing to light the issue in the House. So the issue is whether the prosecution for a crime by a Creek member is exclusively under federal jurisdiction. The issue beforehand is whether the state of Oklahoma has authority or has jurisdiction over what used to be called Indian Territory, a territory in which Maggette resides or where Maggette comes from. Now, the thesis statement, you can see that the most important word in this case has to do with jurisdiction. So I bring to light a thesis statement that jurisdiction plays a vital role as far as deciding cases involving land boundaries or geographical boundaries is concerned. And saying this, someone will ask, what is jurisdiction? Once again, jurisdiction has to do with the rule concerning this particular case. It is the rule that will govern us, that will lead us to come to a successful end as far as this case is concerned. Jurisdiction, according to the textbook, precisely page 481, is the power of a court to hear a case. So jurisdiction is the geographical region over which a court has authority to hear and then determine cases. So we are here to find out whether the state of Oklahoma has jurisdiction over a crime that is committed by an Indian in the land of Oklahoma, claiming it's not the land of Oklahoma. Now, what are some of the facts about this case? The fact is that a crime has been committed. Somebody is dead. An innocent life has been taken. There is a first-degree murder, and Maggette is responsible for all this crime. That is a fact. The crime occurred within the geographical boundary, and the state took jurisdictive authority or jurisdiction over the case. The case is currently before the Supreme Court, and we are waiting for the verdict from the Supreme Court. But until then, we believe, as a member from the state of Oklahoma, that we have jurisdiction over this particular claim or over this particular case. Now, what is Maggette's claim? Maggette's claim that he committed the crime in a portion of land in the Creek County, in the portion of land. So he's trying to say that what he did wasn't in the entire land of the Creek County, in the portion, in part of it. But we need to dive deep and find out that if it's part of it, then the rest, what is the rest? If it's a portion, it means it's not a whole. And we need to understand that the state of Oklahoma is what envelopes the Creeks who are residing in the state of Oklahoma. And then he went on by claiming that Oklahoma has no jurisdiction over this particular case. Now, let's do some analysis over here. Now, history made us aware that in the 1800s, what used to be called, or what we call the five civilized tribes, which are the Choctaw, the Cherokee, the Chickasha, the Seminole, and then the Creek, they were forced by federal legislation to move to what is known as Indian Territory. And the Indian Territory is what today we call Oklahoma. So what used to be called Indian Territory is today called Oklahoma. And this is the land that all the five civilized tribes are residing, including the Creek. So currently the Creek are residing on Oklahoma land. So you see, whatever goes on the land, the state has authority, the state has jurisdiction over this particular over this particular case. We can also look at some cases which are related to Maggette versus Oklahoma. A case like Sharp v. Murphy. In the Sharp v. Murphy, Murphy's claim was overruled by the Court of Criminal Appeal because Murphy could not offer any judgment regarding the state of Indian Territory as far as Creek is concerned. You look at Royal v. Murphy. The Royal v. Murphy, they also claim that the Creek land is separated from Oklahoma, but once again they were not able to prove that the land of Creek is separated. And you see, to make a statement or a claim like that, it's a failed attempt to tamper with the geographical boundary of the state of Oklahoma, and that alone can even lead to more charges. When you look at the case of Magnan versus State, it was a first-degree murder in the county of Seminole, and once again, even though there were evidences against the truth, at the end of the day, the trial court was able to prevail by saying that the state of Oklahoma has jurisdiction over the particular case. And you will ask yourself, why is the prosecutor trying as much as possible not to allow the state to preside or to exercise its jurisdictive authority over this case? Well, it could be that in the Indian county, normally justice may not prevail regarding criminal issues, or maybe their criminal laws are not all that effective. It could be that lawyers could be bribed back home, or probably the case can be left in the hands of heads of clan to decide the destiny of people. So I believe this is some of the things the prosecutor or Maggette is trying to have a loophole to run away from the state deciding this particular case, but that is not going to work. Now, what are some of the proofs that the state has jurisdiction? You see, this case is before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is the highest court on the land. It's the Supreme Court who would decide whether it is the state that has jurisdiction, and it is not Maggette. Maggette cannot claim. He can't say, hey, the state of Oklahoma has no jurisdiction, because he doesn't stand in a position to decide to the Supreme Court who has jurisdiction or who does not have jurisdiction. And we also need to know that the whole land is Oklahoma land, and the Creeks are residing in the Oklahoma land. So everything that goes on the land, the state has authority over it. And there was no reservation at the time that the crime was committed, because it is believed that Congress has disestablished what used to be called Indian reservation, and currently all of them are residing in the land of Oklahoma. What are some of the legal perspective? Now, the legal perspective is that this is a criminal case. A crime has been committed. Somebody is dead. Somebody has been murdered in cold blood. Somebody has been raped. This is a crime which is punishable by the law. And the Supreme Court, once again, is the only authority to decide who has jurisdiction over this particular case, and not Maggette. What are some of the biblical perspective concerning this particular issue? Now, when you read Acts chapter 22, verse 25, Paul found himself in a situation where he was about to be beaten. And then he asked them a question: is it lawful to be beaten by a citizen of Rome uncondemned? So he was like, you don't have jurisdiction over me. You don't have authority over me. And once he was able to prove that they don't have jurisdiction over him, they were not able to have impact, or they were not able to have jurisdiction over him. But should they have jurisdiction over him, there is no way he can run away from it. Now, when you look at the 10 Commandments, some of the laws has been violated. Stealing, killing, adultery, and sodomy. Maggette has stolen a life. Maggette has killed somebody through murder. If Maggette is a married man, he has committed adultery and he's committed sodomy. All these are biblical perspective concerning this particular case. In conclusion, I would like to say that an abominable act has been committed within the geographical boundaries of the state of Oklahoma, and the law must do justice to this case. The Creek County found itself on the land of Oklahoma. Hence, the state of Oklahoma can exercise jurisdiction over this particular case. I pray without any reasonable doubt or reservation that an innocent life has been taken unlawfully within the geographical boundaries of Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma must exercise its jurisdictive authority over this case for justice to prevail and also to serve as a deterrent, in the future, so that people will not just get up and then do whatever they want to do. With this submission, I believe I've been able to convince the House, and it will go in favor of the state of Oklahoma. Thank you.